Go. So welcome everyone to the Love for Humanity free webinar call. Today we've got a really interesting topic, and it comes from a conversation I had with the universe around my own kind of stuff, if you want to call it that. And I like sharing what comes through for me because it's always really interesting, because I don't necessarily know the answer to a lot of things. And so this is where I love sitting with myself and sitting with, I'm sorry, I'm just bringing up all the information on my phone. Sitting down and having a really good chat with the universe around what I need to know around what I need to know. And, you know, it's really great to have a resource that you can rely upon to be able to help you with anything. So whenever anything comes through that's really cool, I'm going to share it with you guys, especially because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has the stuff that's going on. And a lot of us are collectively dealing with a lot of things. So it's very interesting to learn all about yourself and also the next steps and things that you can do to help you on your pathway. What came through was very different to what I thought it would be about, so hopefully I do this justice. But the topic really is all about feeling lost. And when I say feeling lost, sometimes we say I'm lost, but it's more of a feeling. Feeling lost and needing direction, especially around why you're here, what you're meant to be doing, or even if what you're doing you don't really know what that is and if that's making any difference. So I've kind of got a little bit of a breakdown of some of the questions that you might have around all of this. It might be, you know, what is the thing that, what do I call the thing that I'm doing? You know, you've got lots of different interests and lots of different areas. Like, how do I bring them all together? What do I call that? And, you know, how am I going to sell that or promote that to someone when I don't even know what that is myself? How do I tell people what I do? What is my title? A lot of people get stuck on that, especially if you've got to do bios or things for any interviews. It's really difficult to say, okay, what is it that I do? What do I say that I am? Am I doing what I'm meant to be doing? What is my purpose? Am I meant to be doing something else? What if others don't understand or accept what I'm doing? Or, you know, is what I'm doing okay? Or is it something that just brings in the money? Or do I follow my passion? Like, I'm sure some of these questions are questions that you probably have had yourself. I know for myself, those questions are there because I have had those questions too. And it's really interesting that through those questions, I have had some really interesting conversations with the universe around the answers. The answers are definitely very different to what I thought they would be. And this is why I thought it would be very cool to share it with you. I'm actually getting the answers from some scribble that I've written down. So as I said, hopefully I'm doing it justice, but I'm sure the more we go through, and especially if anyone wants to pop any comments or anything in the chat box that we have here, then I can answer any questions or anything around that. So I had a look at the concept of feeling lost, and I say it's a concept because most of the things that we deal with they're all concepts. We think that they are a reality, but in actual fact, when you look at everything that's going on, they are concepts that we're dealing with, that we're looking at. And as soon as you go into the concept of looking at something through the process of it being a concept, then of course you don't take that on to be necessarily true. I'm lost. It's like, let me look at this. And especially if you've been following some of the work that I've been doing lately, anytime we look at anything, we're directing energy at it. And as soon as we direct energy at it through quantum theory, it actually changes how it looks just by looking at it. So if we look at the concept of I'm lost, I'm going to say I'm lost is usually a feeling. And then when we look at the feeling lost, I sat down and I'm like, okay, so what is this? Like, what is it that we're really doing here? You know, why am I here? What am I doing? What is these labels or titles that I meant to tell people that I do? Am I doing the right thing? You know, especially if we're doing a job, if there's a particular job that we're doing and then there's passions that we've got and they're different to what the job is that you're doing, it's really hard to know exactly, you know, am I doing the right thing? Should I just quit my job and do what I love to do? Or should I just pretty much deny myself doing what I want to do and just work to earn money to pay the bills? These are all questions that we probably come up with. So I had a look, and what I looked at is looking like we focus too much, and especially it's around our upbringing and how, you know, humanity has really been programmed into believing what is actually true about why we're here. Is that we should be working to earn money. And that's something that's ingrained in us, you know, literally from when we're born. We should work or find a job to make money so that we pay the bills. And that is really hard to work with within limits, because number one, it's like there's so many things that we can do for work, but not necessarily do we connect the concept of work and passion together. And so sometimes when we're doing a job or we're working in a field that we might have initially been interested in, sometimes we have other interests that come up. There are other things that come up that excite us, and it's like we're not allowed to partake in those because we're meant to be focusing on this. And focus is the main element here, which is like, what are we focusing on? So I find that a lot of us will feel lost if we are focusing on the job that brings in the money. And it's like there's no real element of love or passion or joy in all of those concepts, because we've been put into the concept of survival mode. This is why we have to do this, and there's a lot of have tos and shoulds in all of that, and it's like a cycle that has to continue. This cycle has to continue of, you know, you're born, you go to school to learn the things that help you through life, that help you to get the job, that help you to make the money to then pay the bills and put the food on the table. And the thing is that when we look at that cycle, it's depressing. Like, don't worry if that cycle does depress you, because it's incredibly depressing if that's why you're here and what your life is full of. And that if that's why you think or how you think life works. So what we need to do is what I was shown, is that we shift it around to starting, like looking at our days from a place of doing the things that we love, or the focus. It's changing the focus from, well, I've got to work these hours and then I'll try and fit in everything else around those hours, into I am going to do these things that absolutely are my absolute passion and joy. And then if there is work that we have to do in between that, you know, there are families to bring up, there's, you know, things that we need to do, and there's some things that we don't necessarily want to do, that we focus on. We focus on the things that we don't want to do. And this is the information the universe brought through to me, is that, Kim, you're focusing on the things that you have to do, and then putting all the other things that you want to do either side of that. And in most cases, what happens, I don't know about you guys, but what happens to me when I focus on the things I have to do, I make sure that they get done, but then there's no time for the things that I want to do. And so then we go down through the spiral of not living the life that you want to live, and not really incorporating the things that you love in your everyday. And again, I don't know about you, but for me, waking up in the morning, just focusing on the things that you have to do, and then in your mind thinking, well, I'll try and fit in the things that I love around that, but they're not the most important thing. You'll find the things that you don't think are important are the most important thing, and that the things that you have to do, you just have to do. So it's just a shift in focus. And when I was shown that and told that, I'm like, that actually feels really good. And it feels a lot better for me to look at the things that I want to do or what I'd like to do, which makes me feel good, making them the most important thing. And then what I was showing when we do that, the things that we have to do aren't really a big deal. And when we look at that, we can then incorporate not only the things that we want to do into what we're doing, but we're also not only, and also lifting the vibration and frequency of our whole day, but we're also shifting our love and passions of the things that we want to do and bringing them into the things that we have to do, because the things that we have to do then end up not being such a big deal and we end up spending less time. I know sometimes people have work to do and they have to work between 9 and 5 and things like that, but you'll find you'll be more productive and you'll get more done, and then you'll be able to do more of the things that you want to do in the other hours that you have, because you are focusing on the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. And the thing is that we are brought up, do the things that you have to do first, and then you can do the things you want to do. Like, we're all brought up that way. And don't worry if that's a depressing concept, because it is. But you can actually choose now. And this is what the universe showed me. It's like, schedule your life around the things that you will find, like the things that you love to do or the things that you want to do. And you'll find the things that you have to do will just fit into the schedule of the things that you love to do. And so then when you wake up every morning, you will then see that those elements are blocked into your schedule, and they're the most important thing. And I've actually, and Kristen says, it's so true, you can't go out and play until the homework's done. It's definitely, and it's all that story and everything that we've been taught. So that what happens is it takes us away from our passions and then our purpose, because it's like, okay, so if I'm actually focusing on the things that I have to do, and I have to do those things to bring in the money, there's no link to purpose. And what I was shown is you can shift it around to making everything you do your purpose. So it brings up a story I saw the other day. It was just a movie of about a man who worked in just a service station where where you fill the petrol and all that sort of thing. And he was like this amazing spiritual guru who worked in a petrol station. And this other guy who was learning from him said, you're just pumping gas and you're this amazing spiritual guru. And he's like, because that's not who I am. The pumping gas is just the pumping gas. It's actually not who I am. It's just the pumping gas. And the things that my passions and joys are the study of the spiritual world, the study of self, and how we can expand our awarenesses, how we can move into the supernatural of being, superhuman and being able to do superhuman things. And that's actually what he did focus on and practice on. I think it's the book, Love, Separation from Job and Identity. Yeah, I think I'm not going to tell you, hang on, yes I will. I'll go onto my phone and I'll tell you what that movie is. And I've just seen the actual, what is it called? It's actually a free movie online as well now. That's it, The Peaceful Warrior's Way. It's a very good book and average movie, but that was one element that really stood out before I started asking the universe around, this feeling of feeling lost. And what happened is he was just pumping the gas, but that's not his focus. That's just something that he does. But his focus is the spiritual pathway. His focus is helping people. And, whatever you're doing, if you make your focus, whatever it is your focus is, not the fact of what you do, but whatever your focus is, then you will be purposeful in every moment of the day. And I hope that makes sense, because it doesn't matter whether you work at, Coles or Target or, petrol station or what have you, because that's not who you are. It's just what you do. The thing is that if you want to then look at who you are, and what your purpose is, you'll find it'll come through in those passions, which are the most incredible, important thing. And I will say, going through the recent journeys that I've personally been through lately, and again, anything that happens or comes into your awareness and on your journey will be part of your purpose and pathway, and you cannot deny that, is moving into areas that, if you're meant to be doing something, it will be part of your life and you cannot deny it. And so looking at, especially through adversity, that's where you will find that your main passions and purpose is through the things that have gone wrong. It's through the things that aren't working. And this is where those parts should be your focus. And this is where it's really interesting, because a lot of people don't put their relationships first. A lot of people don't put their health first. They don't put their spiritual growth first. And this is where everyone's so unhappy. And it's like, what is my purpose? What am I meant to be doing? Well, those things are the most important things, and they're the one things that you should be focusing on. And then the other things are just things that you do. They're not who you are. And so when it comes down to, what is my title? What is it that I really do? You can just be a person investigating life. You could be just a person who loves helping people. And you know what? To me, that's as good a title as anything. And we are moving into a time and place where we're not going to limit ourselves from titles. So if someone actually asks you what it is that you do, it's not the job that you do, it's who you are that you can start to share with them, because we are moving away from titles and labels of who you are and that being your job. Because a lot of the times people are in jobs that aren't their passion and joy. They're just the things that are to put the food on the table. And really that's all they should be. But if you want to combine the two and make your passion your job, and then that's also a possibility. And if you're transitioning from a job that pays the bills to having a life or a job that includes your passions, it's literally just, and I'm sorry, but it's using guidance from the universe. It's using the awarenesses that you have. It's the things that you learn along the way. You will be totally guided if you want to do a job that you are passionate about. If you want help with that, or you want to work with that, and you want to actually move into doing a job that is part of your passion and purpose and your pathway here to make a difference. We do that in the Love for Humanity professional group, where we are using the guidance from the universe, and we do that every week. We learn and find out from the universe exactly what it is our next steps are to each thing that we're meant to be doing. And sometimes it's really hard when you're just a person on a planet doing something to know what it is that you're wanting to do, or that transition, or moving into what it is that you want to do. But I would say the first thing to look at is saying that the thing that you do is not who you are. And so you're looking into, okay, well, who is it that I am, and what is really important to me? So I'll just share personally for me, and it's something that I've noticed in the last how many years that I've been alive, is that we always put the job first and then try and fit in all the other things around that, which never, ever, ever get done. So we never, ever really put all these elements of things that are really important to us into these other times, because we're so focused on the job that we're doing. So when you switch it and you say, well, these times outside of the work that I'm doing is my passion, and this is the important thing, you actually find there's a lot of self-care. There's a lot of it's a lot of health and well-being that you make important. And whether it's, I say for me, a lot of the things that I have written down as part of this is, movement is incredibly important. being out in nature is incredibly important. Having deep and meaningful conversations with family, friends, clients, colleagues is extremely important. Reading books, watching movies, getting downloads from the universe, writing, all those sorts of things are extremely important. So as soon as I made those my focus in every day, then my days are pretty exciting, and the focus on bringing in the money doesn't actually even matter. It's not really that stressful. And also, as a lot of people may be seeing, these passions, these things that I had then made more important are now my job and what I get paid to do. And I know, especially on this pathway called life, that when you step into the thing that you're meant to be doing and you are actually taking the risk in doing it, you will always be supported. If you have no doubt, and doubt is the thing that can trip you up, if you have no doubt that what it is, and you use your feelings, that's what I'm saying, your feelings will always tell you if you're on the right pathway. So if you are feeling lost, feeling depressed, feeling unhappy with what's going on, it means that your focus is just on the wrong thing. I don't like using wrong, but the focus is on the making money and going to work rather than what is it that I love to do. If you then look at your day and just pretty much, again, if you're doing your job or whatever, if you say that, okay, my job is this number of hours, that's just, you don't have to think about that. It's just that's what you do. And then say my most important focus is what happens outside, and I have to make sure that these things happen. So again, for me, it's like I need to make sure that, I go for a walk on the beach. That ticks both boxes. Do yoga, have really deep conversations with family and friends. Like, could you imagine if your focus and importance every day was to really sit down with someone and really have an amazing conversation with them? Do you think the world would look a little bit different if we made that important? But the thing is that it's actually really exciting and interesting to do that, and really cool to learn about other people. And like, you can only just have one person a day that you make, like that you have a conversation with that is really deep and meaningful. And then you times that by 7 days, that's 7 different people in a week that you are having the most amazing conversation with. And I don't know about you guys, but to have an amazing conversation is pretty friggin' awesome. So it's like, why can't that be our purpose? Why can't that be our reason? The other thing that comes through is helping someone. Make one thing every day that you help someone each day, and that is your purpose, and you fit that in around the job that you do. Because it's not that important, the job. Again, people always have this wish and dream, I want the job to be my purpose and passion. Well, if that's what you want, then do that. But I don't want you to negate the fact that just because you have a job that brings in the money doesn't mean you can still be purposeful in everything that you do. And again, it's just a choice. If you have any doubts or risk, fears, anything like that around what it is that you want to do, well, you are just a spirit or a soul in a body having an experience on earth. So is it really that important that you fit into the society's conditions of what a life is supposed to look like? Absolutely not. So it's completely up to you what you want this life to look like. And this life is your life, and you are the only one that's living your life. So it doesn't actually matter what you do. No one is actually going to be sitting down saying this is what you have to do. And if you have that, what I call programming, that's okay. You just need to know that you have that. And then you can just decide that that doesn't matter anymore. And you'll find a lot of the work that I do, a lot of the things that I teach is more around, again, it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just do you want that anymore? And you can just say no. And it's not saying that what you did before was right or wrong. It's just that you're just choosing a different pathway. But your feelings will always tell you when you're on the right track. And this is where I urge everyone to use your feelings to guide you on your pathway. Now, if you are feeling unhappy, stuck, lost, or what have you, you can tune into your feelings and they'll always show you what you're meant to be doing. Now, for me doing this exercise, I tuned into what makes me feel absolutely friggin' amazing. And as I did that, these things came through. I'm like, okay, so I just love these things. And so I'm going to make these things the most important thing. And then I found I was looking forward to the days that were coming up, waking up, going to bed, going, oh my God, I'm so excited that I'm going to be going for a walk on the beach. I'm so excited I'm going to have a really deep and meaningful conversation with someone. I'm really excited. And like tee it up the day before. Okay. So really start to put all these elements into place and make those things your focus. And it's what you focus on that you get more of. The universe brings you more. Do not be surprised when you make these elements your focus that you end up then doing those things for your job after a while. Again, I'm not saying that if you are in a job that is not fulfilling you, I'm just saying don't focus on it. Focus on the things that do, and you'll start to see a momentum kick in where the universe literally just replicates what's going on within you on the external world. So it's like if you are feeling stuck or unhappy or lost or what have you, you will see more and more and more of those experiences external to you because that's what you're focusing on. When you focus on the things that you love and make those the most important thing, even if they're only a couple of hours a day, even if you say sleep is the most important thing, and I love it, and you go, okay, I'm sleeping for 8 hours tonight, and that's so important, and make that the most important thing. I'm sitting down and watching my favorite show at 7 o'clock tonight. That is my most important thing. I'm reading this book, and that is my most important thing. I'm eating, this amazing food, and that's the most important thing. I'm sitting down with my partner and, or my animal or pet or whatever, and that is the most important thing. And that's what you focus on. And then whatever you do is just whatever you do, but you have that feeling. The feeling is the most important thing that's creating the reality that you're having. And the feeling is the thing that the universe focuses on. Whatever you are feeling, the universe will bring to you. It'll bring more of that to you, however it needs to look. And it's not saying that it's bringing it to you from a fact of you deserve it or whatever. It's literally the universe just matches energy with energy. So whatever you're feeling inside, the universe will bring more of that to you in the external. And I love, again, this is one of the things I really love. I love experimenting with that stuff. Okay, so let me play around with how I can feel about things, and let me just watch the external bring those things through to me. And it does. It's actually really fun and it's really cool. So I hope that information's helped you. I was quite astounded at how easy it is and how simple it is to be able to start to shift out of being lost and moving into a concept of purpose. There is stepping stones, and again, everyone's in different circumstances and situations in their lives where some people have full-time jobs, and some people have full-time jobs and children, and some people have other responsibilities and things like that. And I'm not saying that you pull away from your responsibilities because they're there. But I'm saying don't make them a focus. Just focus on the things that you really, really love, and make sure, this is the thing, make sure they happen. If it's really important for you to have a bath every night, make sure it happens. That is the most important thing, and make that a non-negotiable. You'll find the things that just happen, which is the job, things that you have to do, you will spend less time doing them. And I don't know, play around with it. I don't know if that's what your experience will be, but that's definitely been what my experience is that when you focus on the things that you really love, you have more time doing the things that you love. And then the things that you're not so excited about, I still do housework, I still do paperwork and stuff like that, things that I don't necessarily love, but I don't make it a focus. It's just like it just gets done. But my focus is these other elements which are really important. And when you do that, the universe will just replicate those important things in the external world, where you'll see more and more important things come into your life. And again, you will be happy doing those things. Use your feelings to show you if you're on the pathway, and definitely use those feelings to help you to guide yourself and tune into those elements within yourself where the universe is actually communicating with you and helping you on your pathway. See what comes into your awareness and see what comes up and what it's all showing you. If it feels good, then keep following that. If it doesn't feel good, look at it and see, what meaning has been placed into that. Where have I made things more important that aren't actually the most important thing? And shifting your mindset around all of that makes a massive difference. So I hope that's helped. And if there's any questions, you guys can pop the questions below, or you can. Thanks, Kristen, and thanks, Julie, for joining us live. And if anyone wants to actually do this work, you can join our protege or professional groups, where we actually work in a group together on all of these things. But definitely please focus on the things that are more important. And I will say from recent experiences, we don't really put our health as the most important thing. We don't put families and relationships as the most important thing. We just usually put our job as the most important thing. That's the thing that we have to do. And then the other things just, we try and fit them in or cram them in on the outside. I'm urging you to change that around. Well, and the universe has shared that with me. Shift it around to these things are the most important things and the things that are most important to you. And then you'll start to find that they'll all blend into one, and that you aren't your job. You are just here having a lovely experience. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Sending love to humanity, sending love to you, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.